So, Father Albert, you get this call. Your parents have raised you in the church, and you answer the call, and you're in seminary 8 years. Now, when you get out, do you get a church right away? Or,
Yeah.
how did that? And then you end up a worldwide television star. How does that happen? Talk about that.
Well, it's funny. When you get out, there's two things that happen. You become a deacon first before you become a priest. That's in all the ancient Catholic traditions. It's the order of events. So when I was a deacon, I was down in Key West. I was the first one in 25 years to be sent down there. It's kind of a party town.
Yeah.
But then from there, after you start preaching, and we call it an internship, you're finally ordained a priest, and then they send you to your first parish as an assistant pastor. So there's a head pastor who's an older priest, who's kind of your mentor, and then you go there, and then they move you around every 3 years. It's kind of the system in most places, not everywhere, but they move me around. And so my first parish was full force parish work. Youth ministry, the kids, the work. And when you're the young priest, 25, you end up doing all that stuff.
Sure.
Loved preaching, obviously. Started my Spanish services for the first time because they had no Spanish over there. This was Broward County, Florida, Fort Lauderdale. We had one of the first Spanish masses there. And then I got to Miami Beach. So what happened in my second assignment, this was 3 years out, I didn't realize in the congregation, we had all these celebrities. Yeah. People like Shakira and Sofia Vergara, Eduardo Verástegui, and all these soap opera people, TV people, music people, the Estefans, Gloria and the Estefans, who are to this day very close friends of mine. And these folks were all there, and they're like telling the producers at Telemundo, oh, you guys, talk show, you're looking for a priest. We got your priest. And I didn't know this was going on. So they were scouting me at church. Yeah. And I'm like, really? And I didn't know that. I didn't know. I was just preaching to a congregation, but they were full of entertainment people on both sides of the competition, by the way. I had just as many Univision people as I had Telemundo people, and they went back and forth. And then what happened is the bishop gave my name as one of the priests to interview. They had searched through the whole country, and they claimed they interviewed 500 priests. I'm not sure that's true, because to interview 500 talented guys and end up with me must have been but they ended up with me. They did a casting, which I did not know was a casting.
Yeah,
Pastor Rich.
sure.
I showed up, and there were all these models and girls, asking me questions about everything in life.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I do this. This is what I do with my kids at church all the time, so it's nothing different. I did it in front of a camera.
Yeah.
When I finished that, it took about 15, 20 minutes. The lady comes up to me in Telemundo, and I didn't know she was a director of talent. So they're the people that hire. And she looked at me and said, Father, I need to tell you this. I said, what? You're the one. And I'm like, I'm the one for what? Yeah, you're going to host this TV show. I said, TV show? Are you kidding? I'm like, oh, yeah. So it's once a month, right? Oh, once a week. No, Father, it's every day. So I became, from one moment to the next, this international priest. I would enter 21 million homes, imagine, throughout Latin America and the U.S. TV was still a very strong thing then. But I got to tell you, it was a great experience because it put me out. I was still a full-time church priest, by the way, a parish priest. But it put me in contact with people that I would never have met or worked with had I just been a parish priest, in the sense that most of them were not connected to any church. And in my heart, I was an evangelist. All I wanted was to preach good news.
You're calling.
Yeah, it flourished.
International. You have an international parish from a secular television network that you're calling home to Jesus.
And by the way, I fought with God about it quite a bit. Because I'd see myself, makeup, first of all, wearing freaking makeup. I didn't want to wear makeup. I'm a guy.
Yeah.
But they put makeup on your face. Then sit around in a studio in the middle of the day, waiting for the next show.
Yeah.
It was frustrating for me. Because it's like, hurry up and wait, right? And then you're taping shows, but I'm thinking, oh my God, I got to go to the hospital. I got to go visit this one. I got to take care of this one. I got to prepare my sermon. So it was sometimes frustrating, but then something magical happened.
Wow.
People started writing me, and they started telling me how their lives were transformed by watching the show. And that's when I said, oh God, you mean there's people behind that lens? I didn't think there were people behind the lens.
Yeah.
I would look at the lens and think, what is that? When I started getting the letters, I knew what it was. It was people. And I was so blessed to be able to do it. And that led me to radio.
And so
that led me to advice columns in the paper. That led me to self-help books.
And how old are you at the height of that? How old?
30.
30 years old, 20 million homes, boom.
Yeah. And I started maybe 28, 29.
Yeah.
But the boom was when I was 30.
Wow.
Crazy.